Hey guys, today we're going to be making the Apple Vision Pro sales page. We're going to do it a little bit different. It's going to look like this. I added some screens that we can drag and pagination you can click. I'm pretty excited about this file, especially the fact that we can use video inside of the goggles. You can only do that on Figma Pro though, so I did something a little bit different. I'm going to give this file away if you guys sign up to Figma Pro. So there is a link in the description below that brings you to this landing page where if you sign up for Figma Pro, I will give you this file for free and you can use the videos in it. You can still do this tutorial with us, only you won't be able to use the video option, you'll just be able to use pictures. So no worries, but if you want this, upgrade to Figma Pro and let's get started. All right. Select Design New File, our new design file. Gonna close that. Let's make this a little bit lighter, like that. And hit F on your keyboard for frame. We're gonna use a MacBook, or no, we're gonna use a desktop 1440. Gonna zoom out. And let's go back to the Apple page. I'll link this in the description below. And let's steal this image. So right click, save image as, just throw it into your downloads. And I'll go back over here. What's cool on a Mac, hyping up Apple for a minute, is you can actually remove the background from your image without even going into Photoshop. So we can go to quick actions and remove background. And that's going to give me two separate files, which is kind of cool, and you will be using both of them. So let's grab both of them and put them in our file. Now side by side, let's put them behind each other. So it's actually pull them out of frame so you can see which one has the background. All right, let's see. The one that has no background will say removed background behind it. So let's delete all this so we can kind of see where the background is and isn't. So this one doesn't have a background. I'll just say Vision Pro. This one does. So let's put this behind. And into your desktop. Just like that. All right, we want to give this desktop a grid. So let's go to Layout Grid and add one. Let's do columns. Let's do 12 columns. Keep the gutter at 20 and the margin at 180. All right, perfect. Now let's add the title. So let's go back over to People. And we'll grab this, copy it, paste it here. I'm going to turn off my grid for a little bit just so we can work freely, and then we'll start placing things as need be. So let's add the little dot. Option 8 gives you that little dot there. Okay. Let's make this Helvetica. Regular is fine. And let's extend it by 3%. This is kind of a gray color on the website, so let's go back, and if you grab it, right click inspect. Let's get that color. It's this color here. Copy it, Command C, go back over, Command V. There's that gray. Sweet. Option drag down to create a second box. Let's grab this title. Copy, Command C. Paste, Command V. All right, so this is a little bit different. It's going to be black. And you know what, we're going to do Helvetica New, because they have more options. Let's do bold. Align it to the center. Let's do 56 points. And that's 12. Okay. Shift A to put into an auto layout. And let's give the gap, let's say 20. That looks about right. This might need a little more. So if we make this Helvetica new. Medium. Oh, that looks better. All right, let's add in those little social icons. So let's go up to our plugin icon duck. Let's type in Facebook. Grab this one. Twitter. Mail. And a link. Cool. Let's move these all about. Alright, if you grab the topmost layer and press Command E, that'll make it into a vector for us. There's a square right here. We want to delete this. Grab the topmost layer, Command E. And I'm going to name these as well. So I'm going to name this link. Mail, Twitter, and Facebook. Let's put them into an auto layout, Shift A. And let's organize them. So I think the Twitter one was right here and the mail one was over one. All right, you want these all to be the same height as well. You want them to be 20 or 18 pixels high. So let's grab all of them, press K on your keyboard for scale, and let's say 18. We also want them to be the same gray. And since we're going to be using this gray a little bit, let's just make it a style. So under fill, we'll make it a style. We'll say gray. And all these will be gray. Gray. Because these are different shades of black, it's having me go in and fill them in differently. So as long as you get them all gray. Same as social media. And I think we want the spacing to be, let's see, 20. All right. And I'm going to put them right here. That looks pretty good. We're going to give a little bit of space on top, so let's add some padding at the top. Let's say 24. That looks about right. Okay, let's add our navigation now. I'm going to move all this stuff down, so all of it, grab it all. And let's add another frame, F on your keyboard. Let's push it. Let's actually fill it so we can see it. I think it's a black color. I'm not really too sure. Let's check it. So if I click on something over here, say inspect. Let's see where the whole navigation is. Here. It's looking just like a white black. Okay, so it's like a gray, but it's just like dimmed a little bit. So let's go 80. That looks right. All right, I want the height to be 58. And let's go get some icons for our navigation. So we'll go up to plugins, icon duck. Let's type in Apple. Use this one. Let's type in search. and bag. Move them out, close this, spread them apart. I kind of want, so if you look at this bag, there isn't any strokes coming into it, so let's go into here. You can make this on your own, but I'm lazy and I don't want to, so. And just drag these points up by double clicking and adjusting the stroke. Now that looks like that. If I spread this out, I want them to be the same width. So this one's a stroke and this one is a fill. So let's make them the same width. Let's say 8. That looks about the same. I'm going to go up to Object and Outline Stroke. So no matter if I stretch it, it won't get any thicker than the fill. And I can press Command E to make it into a vector. Move that out of the file. Command E on this one, vector. Command E on this one. And I'll go through and name these. Let's name this Kurt. We'll name this Apple. Logo. And name this one Search. Icon. Alright. You also want these to be the same height. Press K. So let's make them 22 pixels high. And we're going to change the color to white. Alright, so those are our icons. Shift A to put them into an auto layout. And I'm going to name this nav. And we're going to fill it. And I'm just going to fill it with this color here. Let's give it 18 pixels of padding on the top and bottom. And we'll give it a little bit on the sides as well. Alright, we'll come back to this. Let's make all the menu titles. So let's go in and start making them. Store, Mac, iPad, iPhone, okay. I might speed this up so that you guys don't have to die of boredom. Option drag. Name this one Mac. Click both of them. Shift A to turn them into an auto layout. I'm going to name this menu titles. Alright, continuing on. Command D to duplicate. Alright, pad. Grab all of them, and let's change this to regular. And let's put them in the nav bar, in between the apple and the search bar. I'm actually going to delete this frame up here. I made an oopsies, and we're not going to do that. Put the nav inside here. Alright, let's go back to our page. And let's make this newsroom and these little links right here. So, I'm just going to grab this, option drag it out of the auto layout. And let's name this newsroom. Gonna make it black, so unlink this. And let's make this 20. Option drag. And let's name this, let's say search newsroom. And we're gonna use the search icon, drag it down, and let's make it gray. Let's also make this gray. Gonna put them together. Shift A. Make sure they're center aligned. And then I'm gonna move this icon, toggle it over. Alright, I want this icon to be 13 pixels high. Make sure your link is on when you're doing this, otherwise you'll get a skewed image. So turn your link on, 13 pixels high, and let's make this 14 points. Option drag to duplicate. Let's name this popular topics. I'm going to move. Well, actually, I'm not going to move it. I'm going to make a new icon. Press P on your keyboard for pin. Make a point by clicking. Press Shift. Drag to the center. And drag up till you see that line. Click again. There's our arrow. If you double click on this point, let's make a 0.5, a little bend in it, and then grab on these ones while clicking Shift to get both at the same time. And let's make the endpoints round. I'm going to make this 2 points thick. Might actually be less than that, but we'll make it gray. And I want the height on it to be 6. So I'm going to grab it, put my link on, make it 6. Alright. We'll actually make it 1 point. That's better. Put it into this auto layout, and then delete this search icon. Grab these two, press Shift A to put them into an auto layout on their own, and then grab this one, press Shift A again. Make sure they're center aligned. Alright, let's start to square this up a little bit. Press F on your keyboard, and let's make a frame around the whole space. Let's name this body. Alright, now that we have our body frame, let's make a few more frames. I'm going to grab this frame here. Let's name it title. Let's spell it correctly. Let's grab these two pictures here, put them into a frame, so Option Command G. And let's name this Vision Pro. Grab this frame, frame 5. Let's name this Sub Nav. We want nav to be above sub nav. So let's grab this one, and this one. Shift A to put into an auto layout. Let's name this main container. And for the title in Vision Pro, Shift A again. And let's make this hero content. So we're a little bit more organized. Now let's turn our body into an auto layout. Shift A. Let's make sure our body is at the fixed at 1440 and hugging the height. Make sure our navigation is set to fill container. And make sure your body doesn't have any horizontal padding. Back to the nav. Align it to the center. I'm going to grab my desktop and turn the columns back on. Go back to the nav. I'm going to set padding in between the menu titles. Let's do 35. And then I'm going to say 60 for the full nav itself. All right. In the body, it looks like we have a gap of 64 between the vertical spacing. Let's say 0. Close the navigation bar. On the sub-navigation, let's set this to fill container. Let's grab the newsroom, set it to fill container. That's going to push these to the side. Our main container needs to be set to fill with horizontal padding of 180 points. And then our sub-nav needs a little bit of padding. Let's just say 20. And that's looking pretty good. Let's add the pagination underneath the goggles. So I'm gonna turn off the grid so I can see. And I'm gonna make some circles. So let's go in here to the Vision Pro. Press O on your keyboard for a circle. Let's make a small circle, let's say it's 12 by 12. And let's do the same gray color. And let's add a stroke of the same gray color. Let's name this Desktop 1. Press Shift A for auto layout. Let's name this Pagination. I think I'm saying that right. I hope it is. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. Command D to duplicate, and again. We'll spread these out a little bit. Let's say 30? 20? All right. And because this is our first one, we're going to click Desktop 2 and Desktop 3, and we're going to turn off the style and close the eye. Because you're looking a little thin. Let's grab all of them again. Let's make it 2. There we go. All right, this is looking really good. Now comes the animation, so let's get into it. All right, let's close the pagination. And let's make a frame out of these 2 pictures. Shift click, and then Option Command G to make a frame. Name this Goggles. Let's make a rectangle on top of this. I want my rectangle to be 952 pixels wide, 554 pixels high. I'm going to turn this into a different color so I can see it. And I'm going to place it in to my frame. See how it just catches the auto layout? Instead of doing that, I'll grab it here, put it in the goggles frame, and then with my Y value, move it up. I can move it behind the goggles so I can see it, where it's going to be sitting, and also place it in the center of the screen. Just like that. All right, let's duplicate this, Command D. And using the X value, move it to the side. Let's make this a different color. Grab both of these, press Shift A to turn into an auto layout. Let's name this Springs. And press Command D to make another one. Let's actually rename these. So I want this one to be Rectangle 1 and this one to be Rectangle 2. And we'll make this one a different color. All right, now we have our screens. Let's add some borders in here. So in the frame, I'm gonna press O on my keyboard for circle. I'm gonna make this big circle, this big oval. Let's also make it the same color as the background. Careful not to put it into the auto layout so we can move it with the Y value. See if it's in the center. All right, let's move this all the way down into goggles. We're going to duplicate it, Command D. And we're going to move this with the Y value all the way down. Like that. All right, let's group these. Let's name these borders. Notice how it got rid of our social media. We want to fix that in the hero content. We'll go to Advanced Auto Layout Settings. Make this first on top. All right, close your screens here. And let's option drag them off of the frame. And what I want to do is make this a component. So I want to press Command X to cut. Let's add a new page. Let's name this Springs. Let's paste it, Command V. Let's turn it into a component. We'll go back to page 1. Where the screens are setting here, let's delete them. Go into Assets, grab your screens component, back to Layers, move the screens below the borders, align them to the center. With the Y value, move them down to where they originally were. All right, we're going to duplicate the screens, Command D. Now let's make the mask for the goggles. So option drag this off. Let's make the mask. O on your keyboard for circle. This doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be the rough shape of the goggles. Option drag to duplicate. I'm just making a series of circles that reflect the same type of shape that the goggles are. Grab this one, option drag. All right, grab all your circles, shift click to grab them all. Union the selection. I'm gonna drop the opacity to 50% so I can see. And I'm gonna make another circle, go. Let's cut out the nose piece. Subtract the selection. Make it a vector by pressing Command E. Zoom in and you can adjust these to make them a little more rounded. You can adjust all of them the way you like. I think that looks good enough. I'm gonna grab it. Let's name this goggle vector. And I'm gonna move it into my goggles frame. And using the align buttons, I can just put it into the center on the goggles. And I can delete this one. Let's move some of these around so they're in order. So we have our Vision Pro. Then we need the pagination. Then we'll have the goggles. Then we need the picture with no background. Then we need the screens. Then we'll need the goggle vector. Then we'll need a duplicate, Command D, of this Vision Pro above the borders. Then we'll have our borders, our screens, and Vision Pro. All right, now let's get to masking. Grab your Google vector, use it as a mask. We're gonna grab this Vision Pro, change the pass-through to multiply. We'll change this Vision Pro to screen. So on the borders, we're going to add an effect of layer blur at 20. We're going to add an effect to the screens for layer blur at 20. These screens are going to be set to 80% opacity. And the Google vector is going to have an effect of layer blur at 10. All right, this is looking really good. Let's add some images to our screens that we set up in the next page, and they should show up here. So go to our screens panel, and I'm gonna put in videos. You can use images if you don't have Figma Pro, but if you do, let's use some videos. So let's go to Fill, Video. You may see this uploading videos may only work with paid pro teams. That means your file needs to be in a Teams file. So let's go show you how to do that really quick. Go to your homepage, grab what you're working on, and throw it into a team folder. Now that it's in a team folder, you should be able to go back in and add a video. I've just grabbed some screen grabs. You can grab whatever you want. These are from YouTube. grab this one, to video, and this one, we'll do a video, Alright, we have our videos in there now. When you go into prototype, make sure your video's sound is off. Go back to your page 1. For the screens in the background, I want them to kind of blend in with the background a little more. So I'm going to set them to 70. Go back to design. Opacity of 70. So you can kind of see the outline of the goggles more. And let's move the borders in. To make this the first part of the animation, let's grab both screens, Command and click, grab the X value and move it to the first screen and make it about center. Then we're going to duplicate it, Command D, close desktop 1, open desktop 2, grab both screens, use your X value, move it to the center, grab desktop 2, duplicate, Command D, close and open, and then move these all the way to the right side. Let's go over to our prototype now, and let's start mapping out how they're gonna function. Open desktop 1, click on screens, and the other one. In this one, we want to be able to drag it and then end up on desktop 2. So let's add an interaction. Let's say on drag, it navigates to desktop 2. Smart animate, gentle at 2000 milliseconds. Now let's close this, open desktop 2, screens and screens. Add interactions. We want this to be able to drag both ways. So on drag, it's going to navigate to desktop 1 to the left. It's going to be at gentle 2000. Then we want to do it again to drag to the right. On drag, navigate to desktop 3, smart animate, gentle at 2000. Alright, close desktop 2, open desktop 3, grab the screens. We only want to be able to drag this one to the left, so add an interaction. On drag, navigate to desktop 2, because it's in the middle, gentle at 2000. Alright, let's also change our pagination to do the same thing. So, number 1's in a good spot. Let's go back to the design panel, because we want them to be highlighted differently. So, grab this highlighted one, link it off, turn it off. Grab this one and turn it on, because that's the middle one. And then we'll have to do the furthest to the right. So turn this off, go to the furthest right one, and turn this one on. Let's make our pagination clickable now. So I'm going to go over to desktop 1, down here. I'm going to open it up. Under pagination, I'm going to click on desktop 2. I'm also going to go to desktop 3 and click on desktop 2 while pressing command so it gets them at the same time. And I'm going to link it here. So on click, navigate to desktop 2, gentle at 2000. All right. I'm going to go back to desktop 1. I'm going to click on desktop 3. I'm going to go to desktop 2 and also click on desktop 3. Hover over, grab the arrow, drag it to desktop 3. Say on click, navigate to desktop 3, gentle at 2000. Then we're going to go to desktop 2, grab desktop 1. We're going to go to desktop number 3 and grab desktop number 1. Drag it over here. On click, all the same. Now we're all linked up. You can go back to our design panel. And we actually want to start the flow on desktop 2. We want it to be in the center. So we're just going to move this to desktop number 2. And let's play it. Like I said, guys, you can do this with videos or pictures, whichever one you want. I like it with videos better, but if you want to do it with pictures, that's cool too. Don't forget to click the link in the description and get this file for free if you upgrade to Figma Pro. And let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. Thanks.